Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 Nerds by Nerds, and we got the full crew with us tonight. And we had a long break in game, just a week out of game, and we are going to be playing some 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm curious to see what these ladies got up to in that year-long break they've had. So I guess if you guys want to just go around, introduce yourselves, your characters, and then we'll just kind of jump into it. I didn't give you guys the list this time. Oh, and is somebody doing a recap? That's the other question.
I have the recap.
All
right. Listen up. Last week really got our goats. We underwent a ritual with the Olin guy to become part of the tribe and pretty much went into Fantasy Goat Simulator. First, we had to butt heads with some goats on the mesa, and then it got really bad when Deneen had to shove the right marbles into goat statues' eyes and the room kept spawning ghost goats. Finally, we had to hoof it over a long, endless-seeming plain to get to a mountain, and we finally woke up and finished the ritual to become members of their tribe, which is awesome. Anyway, after that, we went back to Gryphongaffe with goats, which we had found out is much better than without goats and makes Arun jealous, and found out we were going to be time-skipping a whole year.
Oh, goats. Goats everywhere.
Goats.
So
I approve.
If you guys now just want to introduce each other or yourselves, and you know, if you guys want to just go in the order you joined the game, that would work too.
I don't remember what that was.
No, not the game tonight in general.
Oh, okay.
That's an idea.
That means Sam's first.
Okay. Hello, I'm Samantha. I'm playing Agnetha. She's a half-elf barbarian outlander.
I am Megan R. Miller. I will be playing Kenna Hollythorn, halfling bard of valor.
I'm Jen. I'm playing Deneen, a wood elf rogue cleric. And Jean's muted.
Yeah.
I just get so distracted and admiring myself in the camera. Sometimes I forget to turn my mic on. So I am Jean. I'm playing Kath, the tiefling paladin.
Awesome. So I gave you guys a year-long break to kind of like been working on this ritual to enchant this crystal that you guys are going to be using in another ritual to kind of like kick the hags back into the Feywild, or at least out of this plane of existence, and kind of undo some of the stuff they've done.
That's skin color. That's not your color.
But in the meantime, you guys have plenty of time to do other things, and you know your lives have kind of settled down a little bit for the past year. But the question now is, what have you guys gotten up to? So, which one of you would like to go first?
I've got a good list here.
Well, shoot. You're
okay.
up.
So first things first, the city was besieged by blood cultists, orc tribes following Narcitis. So Deneen helped to break that siege by sneaking into the enemy camp, assassinating orc leaders, and setting tents on fire to break their morale. And she used thaumaturgy to make this extra intimidating, with green flames, ominous rumbling, condemnations in a booming voice. And to add to the mystery, her daggers, of course, let her teleport away. So before the orcs flee, they refer to Deneen as the Burning Shadow. But on a lighter note, she does help get the spa set up. Deneen isn't high class by nature, but she can fake it pretty well. So she helps as a hostess and spreads positive rumors about the spa. She also spends plenty of quality time with her family. She's starting to teach Fane how to shoot with a kid-sized bow. She also, finally, gets lessons from Kenna and Vance to fix her faulty elven grammar and accent. And then as a next step for her future plans, Deneen also learns Sylvan from the Pixies. Then Deneen takes Vance with her to Carshapathium, his hometown, so she can research the Fae and her oath bow. She's not the best researcher, but she has Vance with her, so this should work out. They do periodically have to deal with hostile Eladrin. She encourages Vance to go visit his family. And also to commune more with her god, she goes to the Temple of Eleven there regularly. Then near the end of this research trip, she reluctantly hands her oath bow over to Vance and asks him to bring it back to Alarion in Gryphongaffe. And then she leaves on her own for some kind of pilgrimage. So she's going to be coming back into town next.
Yeah. So on from several of the orcs that you took out and did it up close and personal, you heard them whisper the words "Burnham Uhado." And after doing some research, it's Burning Shadow is what they started referring to.
That's how she realized that she had that nickname. Well, good. They should know better than to siege our town.
They just siege our town.
Yeah, so I believe it was probably towards the end of your stay in Crushapathian or one of your last visits that you finally realized that Vance was not actually visiting his family.
Nope.
He was just pretending to. He may have even tried pulling a fast one on you, but he's not very good at it. Even though he's been learning from the best, and he hired some other elven actors to pretend to be his family.
Yeah, and I think maybe she figured this out because with the Eladrin bothering them periodically, she would send Vance off to visit his family, but she would also worry about him going off to visit his family like alone. And so if she ever followed him, she would like start to figure out that this is not it. But there are people at the library that know him from before. So maybe that's how she figured out who his real family was. What do you think?
That's very well might be
all right.
possible.
There is going to be an inevitable moment where we're all sitting around trying to pretend like we're all not secretly a little bit proud of him while we're wearing our disappointed faces.
Right. Yeah. Deneen hasn't confronted him about it or anything because it's his business, but she's still totally going to rat him out when she gets back.
Well, and I'm sure the more pragmatic part of Deneen is always worried if this will somehow come to bite you guys on the backside.
Well, she was worried that they were kidnapping him originally. So yeah. Especially considering she discovers that his family is like very powerful. But I'm sure we'll end up talking about that.
So who wants to go next?
I will. Okay, so confessional. I wrote way too much for this. I'm giving you the nutshell version. I spent a lot of time carousing and making contacts. I went on a couple of adventures with Vance. Wrote and performed a bunch of songs because that's what bards do. Learned jewel crafting and befriended a smuggler named Todd who can spit impressively far. I did get a new scar from the siege. Actually, my thought process here was that there are more people in this town that know how to swing a sword than close a wound. So I spent most of that like moving into battle zones to pull injured people off and heal them. So that's what I was doing. And also helping Todd smuggle things in because, sieges.
Yeah. Are you sure you don't want to go through the week by week that you sent me?
Yeah, it was really impressive. I was impressed.
I was like, oh my God, if she started something.
It was like a paragraph for every week, folks. I'm serious.
Okay, no, it wasn't. There were like 10 weeks there that were just, I'm training in jewel crafting this week for 10 lines.
You are such a writer, Megan. You think a lot about stuff. Amazing. Well, I guess I'll go since I'm talking. Well, Agnetha, she's been sort of in and out because what she's been doing is she's sort of on a different kind of a quest for herself. She's, I guess you could say, meditating on or preparing for her quest to go and figure out the hags and take care of some business with them. But in the meantime, with all this stuff happening in Gryphongaffe, she's joined up with her rock in whatever army that they're leading against these orcs, right? Is what they are.
Yeah, it's a combination of orcs and other monstrous humanoids that have been gathered under Narcissus's banner.
Right. Okay, yeah, so any kind of, obstruct creatures or strange things from the Fae or wherever they come from. She's just been in works with Gryphongaffe and the community to protect them, and she's been doing outside quests for Gryphongaffe, like since she can use her abilities, as an outlander, she's able to get a kind of a wider scope on, what's going on, what could happen. So that's basically what she's been doing. She's been a little bit depressed about her family, and she knows that she doesn't really have a family anymore. So she's gotten really close to the gnome, or not the gnomes, the halflings, Kenna's family. And so she's kind of found a lot of joy in that. And then also on the side, she's been doing a lot of work with the spa, making sure that she's going down to, in town and meeting people and bringing them by. So she's trying to keep herself busy with that and try to keep herself positive. So she's like a warrior who's also doing like spa work and stuff. So she's kind of an anomaly, but she's been having fun.
I would bet that Fane loves her badass auntie Agnetha too.
Yes.
And that brings us to Kath.
So Kath went down a path that was set off by Sparks McGee and his ill-fated adventure to heat our bathhouse. And she decides that she's going to pursue studying the arcane arts and primordial, because she wants to find a way to incorporate these into her tinkering, because she wants to find out what the hell he did and fix it and make it better. So she spends a lot of the first half of the year bouncing back and forth between speaking with Sparks. She makes friends with Bucket. She's in and out of the Clockwork Kingdom, trying to learn from them. She's talking to different craftsmen and artisans around town, just trying to kind of build a little bit of a professional network. She does help around the bathhouse, and that, she gets it running a little bit, but she doesn't involve herself with it too much because it's not her thing. During the siege, she happens to be in the library where the portal to the Clockwork Kingdom is. So during those 2 weeks, she spends her time there helping defend the portal and the library and healing people that are brought into the library as kind of a hiding place. And then for most of the second half of the year, she disappears and she goes out and rejoins her seafaring family for a while and gets up to some shenanigans out there before returning.
So
Awesome.
one of the unpredicted consequences of you dabbling into the pillar and getting the brass ladies out is they're now kind of working at the bathhouse, but they needed some training, and they needed to learn how to kind of control the heat that they put off so they wouldn't injure any of your clientele. So you being fire resistant actually end up getting way more massage than
I know, it's so horrible, right?
Yeah, there might have been some minor burning incidents before they kind of got things together because they naturally produce heat. And you even said you had brought them books, which took a little while for them to get right because they've ignited a couple of them inadvertently.
Yeah, and we also occasionally take field trips into their little pocket space and have parties with the bronze ladies there as well.
So, nice.
So one of the things that you and Sparks have been working on was trying to capture some of that heat from the elemental plane of fire and bring it into the bathhouse safely. And one of the problems with that was if you're not careful, you're just going to open up a portal to the elemental plane of fire, and instead of heating the bathhouse, you might incinerate a part of Gryphongaffe or all of Gryphongaffe. So
yeah, and he and I have very different opinions about what safe means. there's a lot of arguing between them. Not like malicious arguing, but definitely very, very heated, passionate arguments about how the right way to do things are.
And anyone who has actually witnessed those arguments are perplexed, because when he gets flustered, he starts speaking in Gnomish. And I don't know what and I imagine Kath would continue the conversation in Gnomish as well.
Absolutely. There's occasionally like throwing of items, and it just gets like a very rapid fire kind of gunshots back and forth when they go at it.
It's like two people that natively speak Spanish talking to each other, but faster. It's just like, how are they breathing? So when the siege only lasted a few weeks, and when it was broken, some of the other champions of Gryphongaffe actually battled their leader, and the tale is kind of spread throughout Gryphongaffe, where this giant half fiendish orc did battle with a group of adventurers, and they defeated him. But right before being able to destroy him, tendrils of blood shot out of a portal and ripped him from this plane of existence. And soon after, the armies broke without proper leadership. But
so there's a plane of blood, is what you're telling me?
Well, there could be. Who knows? I've not traversed all the planes myself. Also, in the past year, a big top has gone up at Amelia Van Morgan's house. Apparently, some of those said adventurers are trying to put together a carnival or circus, and they've been recruiting people for said circus, and they've been practicing in secret. They haven't opened it up to the public yet. But definitely there's rumors abound, because there's a giant tent and some smaller tents have been put up, on the compound there. So that's another thing that's been happening. So I guess we're gonna start with Deneen getting back to Gryphongaffe after one of your treks.
Yeah, this is after she sent Vance back with her oath bow. So she finally drags her sorry ass into town. She's exhausted. Let's see. I mean, I guess she would just go straight home, honestly. Like, she likes you all, but that's her family. So she just goes straight home to look for Alarian.
Before she gets there,
uh-oh,
you encountered a line of beraggled peasants and commoners. And
in Gryphongaffe.
Not in Gryphongaffe, forming a line to get in the Gryphongaffe. They're just kind of like streaming in.
Huh. Like refugees.
Like refugees, 10s, 20s. By the 10s, by the 20s, there might be as many as 100 people gathered outside the walls. Just wait. And the guards looked a bit flummoxed, and they've never had to deal with anything like this. And you can just tell they don't really know what to do. And every once in a while, you see someone who maybe looks a little familiar, or they're wearing, like, they're not peasants. They're wearing something a bit nicer, except for at this moment, they all kind of seem to be haggard and beleaguered and beraggled. Like
road weary.
Yes.
So they look just like I feel, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, some of them.
So Deneen will ask, what happened? What are you all? What happened to you all?
So you approach someone. You looking for any particular type of person?
Let's go with the safe answer. Let's go for a mom with kids.
Okay. So you do find that there's a few of those, and they look at you with haunted eyes. Their faces are streaked with road dust, and it was horrible. I can barely retell it. Everything we have is with us now. Ryler, it's just gone. It's just gone. The monster and the storm, they were coming. We fled.
What kind of monster? What, the whole city is gone? Literally gone?
I didn't look back, but the rumors is it's infested with monsters now. No one was left alive. The chaos storm came and brought monsters with it, or the monsters brought the storm. We don't even know. And one of the kids, a little girl, runs over and clutches her mother's leg. She's only a few steps away. Mommy, will they come here? Will they come here? Will the monsters come? And you see her pat the child's head, and you see she wants to comfort the child, but she just doesn't know what to say.
Here, kid, have some honey candy. Oh my God.
That's like your go-to for everything. It's like somebody that gives someone
that's like her that's her initial panicky reaction.
Yeah, she comes back from this huge long pilgrimage, and even at that moment, she is such a mom that she has emergency candy on her.
Well, yeah. So that's her like moment of panic default reaction, and then she sort of draws her confidence back into herself, even though she looks dead tired, and says, "All right, I know you've been through something horrible, but you've come to the right place. There's people in this town that we know what to do about things like this, and you will be safe here." So I'm going to go, thank you for telling me about this. I'm going to go talk to my friends about it. We know a thing or two about problems.
When you say that, the woman looks up at you from the child, and she just got this haunted, far away look in her eyes. It was like a moving mountain.
Well, it sounds horrible, but it's not going to come here. And if it does, we'll deal with it.
And if you question some more of the refugees, you find out they actually left before this creature actually got to the city, but reports have come to them from people that have come after them.
All right. Oh, that's not good. All right. Deneen feels sorry for all these people, but she's not waiting in a line. She's gonna go over to try and make it over the wall by herself, hopefully unobserved.
Okay. You're not gonna have any problems. The guards are distracted. Yeah. They're trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, she's just slower than usual because she's tired.
And as you get over the wall, you get into the town, and you see that the refugee, they must have just started getting here today.
Okay.
Based on the build up, and people are starting to gather. The regular townsfolk from Gryphongaffe, like, what's going on, kind of deal.
All right. Well, she's gotta check in with Ilarion first, just so he knows she didn't so he knows everything went well. And then she'll go find her friends to tell them what happened. Okay. Or what this is about.
Yeah, Ilarion and Fane didn't even know about it. He had heard some rumors, some gossip at the marketplace about a bunch of people coming into town, but that was it.
They only just started to come here. But she said it's all of Ryler. Would just
Ilarion's got a mixed reaction to that on his face.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, would you have any way to know if your parents happen to roll into town?
Oh, well, they haven't looked me up yet, and I don't know if they would. I mean, we're not on the best speaking terms.
Yeah, I might have kind of, I don't, come to think of it, last year when I was up in Ryler, we might have broken into their house. It didn't go real well. But we were just trying to find stuff out that would help you, honey, by the way. I think I forgot to mention that.
He gives you a little bit of a look. Are you sure? You weren't trying to rob my father, were you?
No. I was looking for some kind of information or just something that maybe would tell me more about this bond between you and the Oathbow, and maybe Fane and the Oathbow. It's the same reason I was researching in Carshapathium. But I have to go now. I got to go tell my friends about this. Did Vance come back with the bow?
I haven't seen him yet.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm so happy to see you. And she gives him a big hug and kiss. And Fane, if she's there. And she says, just don't worry about anything. And I'll tell you more about my trip later. It was positive, but maybe not as important as everything that's going on. I'll come back and see you later. And then she'll go look for her friends.
Okay, so where does Deneen find each of you, and what are you doing in this moment? We'll start with you, Sam.
Okay, I was gonna say she's probably at the spa, chatting with the ladies.
Yeah, she would definitely check the spa.
Okay,
that's kind of my go-to place because I like to be there. I like to relax, or I like to socialize with everyone. So kind of keeps me in the loop too. She's heard about something going on too, so she's kind of curious. Yeah. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. I've been thinking about you. What's all these rumors going on about people coming to the city?"
So even though Deneen looks like hell, she says, "My stuff went well. Don't worry about it. I want to get Kenna and Kath and tell you guys what I just heard outside of town.
Okay.
Ryler's been destroyed by a chaos storm. of monsters.
How unfortunate.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate if it doesn't stay there. And there's also a lot of people dead, Agnetha. So, yeah.
Oh, of course. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What the hell?
I know I always say that Ryler's a pit that should be wiped from the place of the world, but I don't mean it. It's like a sarcasm. Anyway, have you seen Kenna and Calf? Maybe we should check the halfling compound.
I think they're where are you guys gonna be? I haven't seen him today.
What do you guys get, Megan? Where are you
Okay.
at?
So you find Kenna like standing on like a plank or something, issuing instructions to her cousins. Like they don't know where these refugees have come from, but there's a lot of them. So if you think that the halflings aren't helping, you're out of your mind. Like I imagine we probably got like, because we're living in actual houses now, most of us aren't still staying in the Vardos. I imagine we like got the old wagons out and are like setting people up and helping with like
There's a gentrified halfling section of Gryphongaffe now. You guys have built Halflington.
It's like halfling size zoning.
Halflington. I love it.
But the Vardos are big enough for normal sized people to stay in, so I imagine we're probably like setting some people up and like trying to help figure out like where they're gonna go and like what the logistics are and just generally pitching in and being good neighbors.
So when Deneen sees this, she says, okay, maybe Kenna knows already, but let's at least try to find her. Maybe she'll know where Kath is. So we start hunting through the Vardos and houses.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty easy to find. I'm like walking around, bopping around my cousins, like pointing them in different directions.
Are you being filed by a giant goat?
Probably.
And the little baby goat? Oh, wait, no, it's been a year. It's not such a baby anymore.
Yeah, it's probably full grown at this point.
But I'm gonna like come running up to Deneen and Agnetha and you picked a hell of a time to go on vacation. Where's Vance?
That's another thing. I sent him back by himself. I had to go on a pilgrimage. But the point is, the most important thing is, have you heard why all these refugees are here?
No.
Okay, Ryler's, forget it. Where's Kath? I can just tell you all at once.
She's probably at the library or something.
Is she? So she came back from her yar piracy yar. She came back?
You did, right?
Okay.
Yes, she's
okay,
here.
I've been gone for like a month. I'm sorry. All right. Let's go find her at the library then.
Okay, if she's even at the library, we'll keep an eye out on the way there just in case.
You'd find her running through the streets doing paladin-y stuff to help with the refugees. And she totally has like this Eddie Izzard thing. Instead of saying, thank you for flying Church of England, cake or death, she's like, oh, welcome to Gryphongaffe. Bigger he rules. And like she'd give like a copper or she'd do like some kind of paladin thing out of his thing because she's trying to like, and she might be like running around because I think, well, Gryphongaffe didn't have a lot of poor people beforehand, but she still had like a few little ruffians that she probably collected into the Beggar King service. So she's probably like organizing the ruffians to try and help with the people flooding in and putting in a good word for their boss.
Okay. So, question, like this could be really relevant. How long have you been back from your pirate adventures?
About 2 weeks.
Okay.
Not very long. She came back right about at the year mark because she knew that's when the thing would be ready, and she assumed that Agnetha would be ready to go after the hags. But she kind of stretched her breakout as far as she could to that date.
Kath actually saw the strange storms on the horizon in the distance.
Ooh.
I can't believe I wasn't invited to this party. I'm so upset.
What, you mean the one where like the monsters were overthrowing Ryler?
Your family,
yeah, but you would only seen like the storm clouds in the distance. Yeah, so they were like greenish with flashes of purple lightning.
So Kath would like gently inquire of people like, any chance you saw a beholder with a bowler hat running loose? think that was part of the problem. Like in her mind, she's wondering if Stanley was somehow involved in all of this.
I am so worried about
I'm
Stan.
convinced it is. I told you not to mess with that stupid beholder.
So there's not been any mention of Stanley.
No.
We're gonna have to go back for him.
What? No.
What?
We wait.
No.
I mean, obviously not right now. We have pressing plans, but
Let's.
eventually we're gonna have to go
All
back.
right. So
Now
if,
that there's chaos over-
since Kath is not at the library and she's somewhere out in the streets, Deneen gets frustrated and says, "We've got to find her." And she holds out her hand and she has like a leather bracer on her arm, and like fading into view is a snowy owl that appears on her arm, and it's like beautiful. And
She actually went to Hogwarts.
yeah, and she just looks at it and gestures upwards, and the bird takes off and starts like circling over us.
When?
It's a long story. That's my owl wisdom.
Do you know how hard it's going to be to work an owl into your latest ballad, Burning Shadow?
You could rhyme with bird. Wait, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. The point is, the owl is okay. So wisdom is looking for a tiefling, and if she sees one, she will fly back to me.
Would it be quicker for me to see through the owl's eyes? Or
Yes.
For the owl
Wait. Can you do that with and still walk? Okay,
Yeah.
I can actually do that myself. Can one of you walk me along?
Yeah, sure. I'll be your guide, halfling.
Okay. So
It'd
I'll just
probably be easiest to look for Arun because he's huge and covered in dangly beads.
yeah, but
And
Janine has too low intelligence, so she only thinks about the tiefling. Plus, we don't know if he's out.
That's true. That's true.
So okay, so she'll put her hand on Kenna's shoulder and send her consciousness up to the owl and look around.
So after a little while, the owl is able to spot the tiefling.
All right, great. And then the owl comes circling down to us, and Deneen holds up her arm as if it's going to land on her arm, but instead it just fades out of existence right as it's coming in for the landing. So the owl's gone again.
I
And
have
she
so
says,
many
all right,
friends
she's this way.
walking that way.
I just can't believe this. Look at all these people, and there's a huge line outside town.
Yeah.
Agnetha's like talking to random people that go by. She pretty much knows everybody. She's like socializing as
All right.
we're finding.
Yeah,
Kath,
it's a terrible thing, but we're gonna get this figured out.
Kath, your three buddies come around the corner.
So you find Kath, and she's got thaumaturgy and sparklers in her fingers as she's sitting atop Arun, like directing traffic.
I respect
And then
that.
she turns around and she sees you and she goes, "Oh my gosh!" And then Arun whips around and he comes like charging towards the group and stops short so that Kath comes like tumbling over and knocks into you like a
Nice.
a bowling ball. And
I
then
joined this group hug.
Yeah.
Ah,
Agnetha, come on, don't leave us
Okay.
hanging.
we need to. I don't necessarily want to talk about this right in front of this whole crowd of people. Can we go somewhere and talk, because this is super important? But Kath, I'm so happy to see you. So happy to see all of you.
Drinks.
If we could get a room, yes,
At the Poor Boys Pub, we'll go.
I could definitely use a drink.
We know they're not gonna
Thank
eavesdrop
you.
on us there.
Yes.
Some
All right.
extra gin.
Ooh, I quit drinking while I was away.
What?
We need to stay away from that.
I'm afraid of you now.
Yeah, she
Why
says
you stop
that and
drinking?
she cracks up like 2 seconds later. She
Oh,
goes,
I believed you for a second.
Janine totally believed it.
Agnetha like almost has a panic attack. She's like,
Janine's too distracted. She's like, okay, whatever.
"You bitch! Can't believe you did that to me. You totally fooled me. You're so mean. You would do that too."
Because I love you.
Man, this is
All right.
really great. I missed this.
Yeah.
So at the Poorman's Pub, you can definitely get a room. Matter of fact, they offer up your old bathing room, and you're let there by the same serving person that usually would wait on you. Although you can tell she seems a little upset with you guys because you don't come in anymore.
Well,
Oh,
Hey, I have
Let's-
been in several times
let's
over the course of the past year.
let's
I've been playing
just
tavern circuits.
Yeah, but
That's true,
she used to draw the bathwater for you guys.
all right, let's just preemptively give her a gigantic tip. Like, here's a couple of gold.
You know what? And on the side, Agnetha's gonna come up to her afterwards and be like, "Hey, listen up. You know, we've been really busy and we've been doing all this great stuff, taking care of Gryphongaffe and all. We also have our own spa, honey. Anytime you want to come by, you're free, baby." And I'll like make her feel
That's
super
right.
good about it.
That's right.
And I'll
Comp.
give her deals so she's not so upset with us next time.
That definitely seems to pacifier over and perk her right up.
All right. And you
You
bring your
get the
boyfriend.
feeling that she just misses you guys coming in and her being able to hang around you.
Aww. We should give her hugs. She'll
Make a
feel
mental
better.
note to come in here more often. But we have things that are important that we need to discuss.
We probably should have thought about bringing a gift because it's been so long.
We should just hire her to work at the spa.
No,
Then Tom
she
would
has
be
a hospital that's tacky.
Okay. I can't go like losing all my halfling friends because I'm already in hot water about that.
And speaking of hot water, I could really use this bath.
Right.
Right?
I've been nothing but on the road.
Nobody has salts like you do, darling. We'll just kind of like make her feel special so she's not so upset. We can't even mimic your salts yet. We're trying to find crystals that work and it's a disaster, man. Like we'll just, talk it up with her.
Oh, you don't have to make up stories for me. I get it. I understand. I just miss drawing the bath with her. You guys would always have the best stories, and it was nice to just wait on the small party and not the hustle and bustle of the tap room.
Let's be clear. You inspired us to start a spa. That doesn't mean we know all that much about it. So,
yes, we do.
I mean, yeah, but we learned it from watching you.
Agnetha knows a thing or two about pleasure, dear. Okay, just make her.
I'm just gonna get a glass of wine and sit down and wait for
And
us
then-
to start talking about
On
important.
that,
And then
on that
Denise-
note,
Why
she
does
just
it
takes
sound like a
your
complete
orders.
imbecile?
And then Deneen remembers that she dragged you all here because like countless thousands of people are probably dead. And she says, okay, I just need a lot of booze and a bath.
Like pouring you the glass, handing it over.
Uh,
Like you don't like as soon as you're empty, I will tap you off again. Like just
yeah, I'm
start
good for that.
talking.
Absolutely. All right. You've seen these refugees already. There's a whole line of them coming into town. These people are ruined. These people only survived the destruction of Ryler because they happen to be on the outskirts, is how it sounds to me. There was some kind of chaos storm that literally destroyed the city. It was full of monsters.
Oh, sweet. Do you think your in-laws are out of the way now?
Or they're
Oh my god, Kat!
Oh, wait, no. Does that mean that Alarian is like now the target of the curse? Because that would be bad. And if that's the case, I'm sorry.
he seems the same as ever, but there is the possibility that they're going to end up in town as refugees. But
Shit.
this is a bigger problem
Okay.
because what the hell happened, and can it happen anywhere else? And what the hell?
Yes, that is a huge problem. Potentially more immediate problem with your in-laws. I will tell my family to have an eye out for them and put them as far away from you as possible, and then we'll figure that one out as we go. As far as what this was, somebody has to know. I mean, somebody has to know that survived it, right? We're not going to have to go steal a corpse from this crater.
I mean, we can go start, interviewing different people that saw different things and see what they know, but that doesn't mean there's going to be some expert that we can consult.
When people panic, they start getting things wrong. We're going to get a ton of different details.
Yeah, but if you hear the same things from different people in different parts of town, then there might be some consistency.
All right.
Which means we should do it soon.
Okay, good. While the memory is still fresh, that makes a lot of sense. Then we will make a stew and we'll go interview them because they're probably starving and they'll speak more on a full stomach.
You better put some fruit peanut butter in.
Takes another drink.
Rough conversation.
And by the way, I had to go on this pilgrimage. I sent Vance back here.
Right.
We were in Carshapathium. I gave him my oath bow, which I didn't really want to do, but I had to. And I said, bring this back to Gryphongaffe, bring it back to Alarian, and he hasn't shown up. And I've been off doing my thing, which means he's late.
Wouldn't I have known about this whole thing with Rylor though, since I was like traveling around and stuff? You think
It's very recent.
Oh, okay. So maybe I was home when it happened.
Okay. So we'll figure out a way to find Vance. But I think our first priority should be figuring out as much as we can about what happened and maybe figuring out who else is looking into this so that we can make sure to keep each other informed.
Well, the other thing about Vance, which I don't know if it's relevant or not, when we were in Carchapathium, I was encouraging him to visit his family because he hasn't seen them since he left. And so he told me he was, but it turned out he actually wasn't. I don't know if he's on the outs with them or if he just really did leave with zero permission. Turns out they're like the third most powerful family in the whole kingdom.
Of course they are.
So I don't know if they nabbed him or if something happened to him in the wilds or what. I thought he would be okay. I had a thing to go do.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know he should have been able to handle walking down a road by himself, but you know how things happen.
We've seen stuff on that road.
We have seen stuff on that road.
I had to do this thing for Elven, and it's a test of faith. I had to go do it. I'm sorry.
I refill your cup.
Can your owl, like you say you have like your owl, can it help us with this at all? Like, can we use Faye to help us track him?
She can, I can see through her eyes for 100 feet. You could probably do it for longer.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe what I can do is go find somebody that like I can get like animals from, or some kind of a creature that I can bond with and buy, and it can go off on quest for me. We can search for him.
I could send her down the road to look for him. She's never seen him before.
That's the only problem. I don't think the animal would know what they were looking for because they've never seen him.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to go downstairs and purchase some stew, like a significant amount of stew to go and feed the refugees.
For like 5 gold pieces, you basically purchase like a drum.
Oh yeah, that's
you basically start a soup kitchen with
yeah.
The
yeah, and like interview them as they're coming to get food while you guys are talking about this, because I trust you to handle that, but the seed's gotten too quickly as well.
And let's start collecting information, I guess.
Yes.
And Agnetha is inspired by you, Kenna. She wants to start a soup kitchen now.
Let's get the bathhouse settled first.
You got to go do a combo thing with spa and stew.
Real quick,
Denise, my life entrepreneur.
Little minor question here.
Yeah.
That oath bow, isn't it somehow like attached to your husband's soul?
And maybe my daughter's soul. Yeah, it is. And there's also some kind of, yes, it is. Wait, Dave, am I still attuned to the oath bow?
I believe you are.
Okay, so nobody else has attuned to it. Meanwhile, I can feel that much. But I still don't know where it is.
Can't you track it somehow since it's connected to you? Like, can't you find somebody to help you with that? Like some kind of a freaking...
I was so discombobulated when I saw Larry, and I didn't exactly tell him it was missing. I told him I was wondering where Vance was. But maybe he'd be able to feel it. I got to go back and ask him then. But I'll interview some people on the street on my way there.
Well, if it's in town, I can find it.
Can you?
Yeah. I'd have to spend some time running around town, but I have a spell I can use to locate stuff. It would just be a while to search for it.
For all I know, it could be back in Carchapathium. All right. I'm going to try sending Wisdom down the road toward Carchapathium.
Okay.
So I can talk to her telepathically. Can I maybe send her an image of what Vance looks like? Or is it just language?
No, I would allow you to send an image. And then I think you can communicate. It's like 100 feet telepathically.
Right. Only 100 feet. And then she could keep following down that road that we came up because she knows where that is. And then whenever I think she's flown that distance, I can call her back.
Okay.
All right. So Deneen finishes washing up, gets dressed again, puts her bracer back on, and goes to the window, and the owl reappears on her perch. And Deneen says, and Deneen, scritches her under her chin and is very affectionate with her. She obviously loves this owl. And she says, okay, Wisdom, I want you to go fly back down the road we came up. And I want you to look for this man. And then she just sort of makes eye contact with the owl. And says, can you see him?
Ooh.
All right. Good girl. Okay, go ahead. Go.
And she silently takes wing.
Yep. And there she goes. I have no idea how long it's going to take her to fly that, but I'll call her back later today, I guess. And then she can tell me if she found him.
Okay. So what is Kath and Agnetha doing at this moment?
Kath has her create food and water spell that she's been using. So if we're going to like feed/interview, she could help with that. Or if you want us to, maybe divide and take a couple different sections to get perspectives from different people, then
and cover more ground.
Whatever.
That's a good idea.
Well, and Deneen's going to beeline back to her apartment to ask Alarian about the bow again.
Kath might actually seek out the worst injured people, assuming that they might have been the closest to the action. And because she can heal, that gives her an excuse for being there.
That's awesome. You're like a nurse with like,
ulterior motives.
You're gonna run out of
ulterior motives. Yeah, you're like, hello, how can I?
Yeah, but then she could fake it with thaumaturgy and like give them like placebo effect.
Well, she's got quite a bit of lay on hands. So if people are like on the brink of death, she can bring them back with just like
I was gonna say you're gonna run out of spell slots before you run out of people to feed.
Yeah, but lay on hands isn't.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You actually don't encounter. You don't encounter many injuries, other than literally things that happened on the road. After you start talking to people, you realize these people actually fled in front of the incoming catastrophe. They weren't in the city when it happened.
So there's no one who was close to the city.
They were all actually inside. They're all from in the city. And you get all kinds of wild and crazy descriptions of monsters. But the only thing that seems fairly consistent is this kaiju-sized monster that was heading towards the city with a storm around it. And it had these like crystalline spines up and down its back. And it almost looked like a Spinosaurus kind of dinosaur. And it was all kinds of wild and crazy colors, purples and pinks and greens and yellows. And like they could literally see it from in the distance, and the way the spines were arranged on its back, it almost looked like a small mountain range moving slowly but surely towards Rylor. And many of the folk just grabbed up whatever they could and fled. Others were going to stay and try and defend the city and drive off the beast, and were looking for solutions. But many just decided to evacuate, and even the city officials and leadership were calling for people to evacuate, get what they could, and leave.
Kath will also ask if they are aware of what happened to Deneen's in-laws, because they're a pretty prominent name because of their shipping business, right? So she might say, did anyone make it out on such and such company's boats? Did they help move people?
Summer Star.
Summer Stars. She's like,
guys, I have access to Gryphogaffe's griffins, dude. Like I can go to
a Griffin,
the man of Gryphongaffe,
the Air Force,
Rock, who I'm basically wooing in the nighttime.
Well, he actually it's owned by a friend of his, and he just worked out a deal so that he could kind of show off for you.
I bet Harrock knew if he can woo that guy again, and I could give him some dough. You know what I'm saying? Do Rami's gonna talk.
And then so they did get like some other information that kind of came out was from people that fled later, so they kind of got some information about what was actually happening in the city. That's a little more spotty. As far as the what was it? Summer
Star.
Stars. You know, a couple people spit on the ground. Bastards. They loaded up their ships all right. Not with people though, with their stuff.
Oh,
So they might have made it out.
I'm interested in this giant thing that attacked the city in the first place, or this like giant what did you call it? It's like a monster,
like a kaiju size,
like a mountain range.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think that Gryphongaffe would know something about it if it's that big? If it's like so destructive and stuff?
Well, it didn't come this way. They know that much.
Yet.
Well, can I like go to this guy that what's his name? Freaking A. God damn it.
Harak?
Harak. Thank you. That Harak knows. Can't we like go talk to this guy and see if we can get some kind of like, you know, perimeter of the area and see what we can find, or see if we can figure anything out, or see if we can find people? I mean, you know, maybe I made some money this summer and y'all don't know about it. I could just sort of like slide that by, be like, so we need some griffins.
Yeah, Ryler's like 3 weeks away though, right?
Yeah, it's a couple weeks away.
Yeah. So I'm not really surprised that the people we're seeing are actually like, they had to be healthy enough to run here. So the first ones you see are going to be the healthiest ones.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say if we need gold for a bribe that is like for some kind of recon thing, that qualifies as a party expense. So you could take that out of the party stash. Probably.
And if you ask Harak, like he's just kind of like disseminating information. The same.
Harak is barking mad.
Yeah.
It is done. We shall go to Harak and we shall speak to this man about the griffins and about bribes and such.
He's doing the same thing you guys are doing and disseminating the information. And Gryphongaffe will be sending out scouts to see what's going on. At least from a safe distance anyway.
Now, wait a minute. I'm also a part of this, like, it's almost like I joined the military basically within the year. So anything that's going on with Gryphongaffe, I'm going to know about it. Like, or I'm going to at least be a part of it. And especially, you know, I imagine that Harak and I trust each other by now. So he knows that.
That's an interesting question. How far has the relationship between Agnetha and Harak progressed? Has it progressed?
I would say we're pretty close, but he relies on me as like a friend and a confidant. Sometimes
She's
lover,
a
but mostly a confidant.
Is
that it? Is that it, Agnetha?
I like Harak a lot, but he doesn't know it as much as I know it. So, but basically, I'm trying to use my time wisely to defend the city and to protect people. And
You're using that as an excuse to not. Okay, Janine would have been lecturing you all year. You're using that as an excuse to not make a move to take it to the next level.
The moves are there, but the level is just where it is right now. So we're kind of like that. We're not like gonna get married or anything.
They're both
like,
emotionally awkward.
yeah.
God.
We're like, you want to go get a drink or something?
It's like a couple of 13-year-old humans. I swear.
Yeah.
Oh.
Experiencing passions for the first time.
Have you at least reached first base?
Third base.
So can I write a mock ballad about how much of a tsundere Agnetha?
We're not children, people, but we're also busy. You know what I'm saying?
Senpai, notice me.
There's a body tavern song that is circulating, and you don't know that I'm the one that started it about an awkward courtship between you.
Rock and Agnetha lay at night.
No. She's being subtle. The names of the people in the song are Barak and Hagnetha.
Yes.
That's perfect. Okay. So yeah, we don't like
no one will ever know.
Knows. Everybody knows.
There's like in great detail, but we can put you guys into a romantic, the romantic relationship.
So they're in this like constant orbit, but that's it. Oh no,
like
this is so sad.
Yeah, the sun and the moon. That's what we are. You should sing ballads about us as the sun and the moon.
Danine's gonna spy on them with popcorn for sure.
What?
And she's got an owl whose eyes she can see through now. Now it's just creepy.
God.
So whether you're actually a part of the military or not, you actually get the same level of information you would as being in, because you do have Harok's ear. So
Awesome.
So
Okay.
that's definitely a thing. Some of the reports that kind of came out from people that like kind of came back sooner was like everywhere this creature in this storm went, it's covered in this warm, waxy substance that it covered, it blanketed the earth in this blackness. It's kind of spongy to the touch and warm, and it's got these like luminescent green veins that shoot through it.
It's like Stranger
That's
Things.
highly irregular.
I'm sure that's healthy.
It sounds almost like so you know how like with voodoo they use like wax and junk to make simulacrums and stuff like that to do their magic. I wonder if it's like
No.
a giant scale of
Dave,
that.
Dave, is
Megan,
it like
back me
Stranger
up on the voodoo magic here. Yes,
I know
I'm
you're
right?
not wrong. You're absolutely
Okay.
not wrong. That's definitely a thing. Just
I wonder if it's
the bioluminescence makes me hesitate.
was it natural, or were the veins natural looking, or was it more like
Nothing about that sounds natural.
Dave, is it like Stranger Things?
I wonder if it might be planar.
It's a little bit like that, or for well, they did make a new version, so some of these younger ones might know about StarCraft and Zerg Creep.
I have no idea. I never watched Star Trek.
You two know more about magic than I do.
Watched a lot of Star Trek.
Really? I never watched it.
Oh, is that
Ever.
the Ballad of Star Trek? Did you learn that in Bard School there?
Oh, that's right.
Kenna?
We're playing D&D.
But I said StarCraft.
Yes,
Zerg-
I know.
okay.
I know you did.
Oh,
You did, but then
StarCraft.
she
I'm
said Star Trek,
sorry.
and
That's
I like Star Trek, so I tangented. Sorry.
Yeah.
like old StarCraft.
So and to answer Kat's question, yeah, nothing about that seems natural.
It's bad.
It's bad. It's bad. It's really
We're
bad.
probably gonna need a sample of it at one point. or
All
another.
right. Harok is sending scouts up to Ryler. Do we want to do that? Because we have hags to kill.
We do have hags to kill. We really can't afford to miss this
Oh,
opportunity.
and I still don't know. And we still don't know where Vance is. I just.
Well,
and
one more question before we leave the monster. Did it seem like there were any kind of runes or writing on it, or any kind of like emblems?
Oh, no one got that close
Okay.
that you guys have encountered so far.
Okay.
Okay. So we have spent a whole year and a day working on this hag debacle, and we know for a fact that Vance went into the swamp to get the swamp water in the first place. It is possible he was tampered with. He might be where we're going anyway.
But he seemed fine
So did Sheena.
this whole time.
No,
Here's-
Sheena never seemed fine.
Okay, see, Sheena seemed fine to Kenna.
No, Sheena has never seemed fine.
I saw her.
Here's the
I
thing,
like-
though. Do we want to try and take on the hags without Deneen having her weapon?
I
No, we don't,
actually I've been practicing more with my daggers. That's part of what the point was. So obviously I want to find the oath bow since it has my husband's soul in it. But if we don't have it, we'll work it out.
I have a feeling that it's going to take a little bit more than physical strength to kill these bitches off.
Well, that's why we've got the Tala thingy mabob.
Yeah, and your bow is like magic, and sometimes magic weapons do more damage.
These are magic too.
Both of them?
I want the bow. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
No,
I know you want the bow. I'm just
Okay.
I know,
Okay,
and
you
I know
guys,
you have
I'm
the
sorry.
one magic dagger. Are they
no,
both
they're
magic?
both the same.
Oh.
I usually only use the one because that's usually all I need.
Oh, so what you're saying is you don't need both.
Not tactically. No.
Okay.
I mean, it still means I got to get in their face.
What was it that Meglin gave me when he died? It was like some kind of a necklace or something, or
It was
Right.
it was a gemstone.
That's
a
what
gemstone.
that's what Jarissa. That's what they're using to make this talisman that's going to eventually help us banish the hags.
So we need to figure out how to use that.
Yeah,
They've been working on it all year.
Yeah. So the culmination of that was there was a ritual performed on that stone that's going to allow you to actually do another ritual to actually drive the hags from this realm and undo some of their handiwork. Anything that they've done in the last 100 years is going to be undone. But the thing is, you have to enact the ritual in the Feywild where it overlaps with the swamp. Now,
because their home was like a section of the Feywild here, right?
Yeah, so you're gonna have to enter the Feywild and then find that swamp, or the facsimile of that swamp, and then you enact the ritual there.
One more thing that really concerns me is that if they did end up with Vance, we saw what they did with Maglin.
I didn't want to send him by himself. I know
no one's blaming you. It's okay.
Maybe I should have told him to stay in town and then gone back to meet him, but because of the whole
then it
thing,
would have been Eladrin.
But then, well, yeah, we had to deal with them periodically too. I just
God damn it, Janine.
Well, after I found out that he didn't want to really see his family, I was like, just go back to Gryphongaffe. So, sorry.
Okay.
No, it's all right. We'll find him.
I know. I just feel really bad. This evening, I guess I'll call Wiz back to me, and then she can tell me if she saw him on the road.
Okay.
And then
let's just
also
wait
said
to
she
see what
has
happens.
locate objects, so you could always try that too.
If he's in this town, yeah.
Well, we want to rule it out before we go looking.
Should we talk to Sheena before we go anywhere else too? See if she's got anything extra for us, do you think?
Well, the hags have their hooks in her. Wouldn't that kind of tip them off potentially?
Yeah, let's leave Sheena out of it for now.
I mean, we've
Maybe
been leaving her out of it.
Sacrifice her to the hags.
No, she went to the hags on her own before, and I like Sheena. I like her alive and breathing where she is. She's too pretty for a sacrifice. Come on.
No, she's perfect. She's beautiful.
No, you just leave that's alone.
That's why we've been part of why we've been leaving Sheena alone.
I don't know. Something's got to give.
Well,
so what is the next step for you guys? What are you going to do right now? You spent all day kind of like, especially Deneen is probably weary from traveling in.
Yeah.
And then you guys have been kind of helping the refugees and pumping them from information.
I'm going to go to Lady Midge.
Lala Midge.
Lala Midge. I call her Lady Midge because she's my lady.
Respectful.
I was just working under the assumption that Lala was the halfling word for grandmother, but
yeah, she's my old lady, So I'm going to go to her because she's like my grandma right now. So I'm going to go to her and be like, so we've got some shit to take care of again. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of gold to buy ingredients for soup. And I want a few of the people from our village to go down and help those that are in need. And we want to start a soup kitchen. We have a little corner shop that we know some people or whatever. I'm sure we know lots of people. We can get a little corner shop and get a little kitchen going and get some soup made.
Well, you guys actually do know a lot of people and have helped a lot in the town. So organizing that would not be difficult.
Hometown heroes.
Yeah, it'd be easy for us. Like we know lots of people and we're a huge influence. So we want to start like a soup and a bread kitchen or something like that. So everybody that's coming in can not be starving.
Let's see if we can get some cots around where there's space. Maybe the upstairs.
Well, Father Frelier sends some of his acolytes and he himself comes as well. And they kind of empty out the Church of Light to come to where the people are to help them. And if anyone is seriously injured, they bring them back to nurse them.
Oh, and so when Deneen was canvassing people for information, she was going to make her way back to her house and tell Alarian that she hasn't been able to find Vance anywhere and that Vance had the oath bow.
Okay. And his face drops a little bit.
I had to give it to him. I was supposed to leave it behind. I was doing this pilgrimage for El Even, and I wasn't supposed to have it with me.
Well, okay. I mean, let's not panic yet. I mean,
and I have someone looking for him right now, but
How much of a head start did he have from you?
Well, I was out there for, well, it was kind of this weird thing, like full of illusions, and I'm not exactly sure how much time passed, and it took a while. So, wait, what day is today?
What day is today?
Yeah.
Tuesday in the game, whatever that is.
Okay. Oh, yeah, he should have been here days ago. Oh, that's really not good. All right. Well, I'm still attuned to the bow. Like nobody else has taken over it or anything. But can you like feel if there's where it is or if there's something wrong with it? Can you tell anything?
I don't feel anything. I mean, I'm not connected that way.
Okay.
It was just part of the bargain. Like, as an infant when when it happened. Maybe even before, may have been before that. I don't know.
All right.
I'm not actually supposed to have it.
Well, I normally have it. But yeah, okay. Who is supposed to have it? Does your dad keep it usually? Like, did you take it from him?
Well, when I left, yeah, I kind of took it.
All right. By the way, I heard the Summerstar shipping lines were loading up all their goods and stuff, which I assume means your parents were also evacuated. So they really could show up. Keep your eye on Fane.
They could come here, but they could also go the Drellic.
Okay. So they have other places to go.
They have holdings there, so I imagine that's where they would head if they could.
I hope so then. It's not like I make a big deal that we live here in particular, but okay. Well, I'm looking for the oath bow, obviously. I'm so sorry I had to do it.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna worry about it yet, but
all right.
I'm not sure entirely how that's connected to the curse and the family and the pact.
Well, I've actually been researching that, but we don't have time to deal with any of that. There's too much going on right now that affects too many more people. So we've got the hags to worry about. There's now this thing in Ryler, which hopefully won't come in this direction. So there's plenty going on. It's still important. You understand.
Well, let's say one catastrophe at a time.
Yeah, exactly. And we're fine here. Everything is fine. So,
how are you?
Yeah, exactly. So, with that, Deneen will say goodbye again and go back to join them.
All right. So, Kath, what are you doing now?
I am going to be tearing around on a rune at full speed with locate object up, trying to circle through places that either I know Vance had visited before, or I think to myself that if I was ashamed and didn't want to talk to anyone, that I would hide there. And I'm not looking for the oath bow. I'm looking for, does Vance have like a belt that he always wore, or like a particular necklace or ring or something that he always had or was always wearing?
Yeah, he definitely had he would have had something on that was recognizable. Yeah.
All right, she's the first. She's going to look for that first, just in case he's here, but he lost her bow. And that's why he hasn't come forward, because he lost it. So she's looking for him by looking for the thing that she knows that he wears.
So you do get a beat on him.
All right.
And it leads you to the Lion's Heart Inn, which is like probably the most upper class establishment here in Gryphongaffe.
Okay. I am going to dust myself off a bit before walking in there, and I'm gonna go find him.
Okay, so you're getting a signal from upstairs where the rooms would be.
Okay. So I go up and I knock on the door and I go, housekeeping.
So as you approach, what is your passive perception?
Oh, that's a good question. 10.
Okay, so give me an actual perception check as you walk up to the door because you're kind of using your spell to find something.
Okay. Nope.
All right, so you go up to the door and you knock on it, and you hear a feminine voice call out, "Hello."
Yes, housekeeping. You want towel?
We don't need anything in here. We're good. And then you think you hear some like whispering,
Kath, is the door unlocked?
It is locked for sure.
We have urgent message.
Urgent? And then you hear the padding of bare feet on the floor, and a woman like cracks a young woman who's pretty cracks the door, and she's kind of you can see like she's got a blanket draped around her, and she kind of like just enough to kind of. What is the urgent message? What do you need?
What does Vance look like again?
He's a gold elf.
Yeah, he's a high elf with long blonde hair, green eyes. He's very he's even thin for an elf.
Okay,
and a little bit on the tall side.
The healer was able to identify the young elf's ailment. I have come with the medicine he requested to cure it.
I love you so much, Kath.
Says, what ailment? And you hear another female voice coming in the room as well. What ailment? Like whispered.
Oh,
not to you, to someone else. Clearly, and
okay.
You hear Vance's voice whisper like, I don't have any ailment.
Yes, it was a skin infection that had presented symptoms on and off, mostly in his hair where you couldn't see it. He was very concerned when it started to fester the other day.
I hope not. He's got lovely hair.
Exactly. So it's very important that I get his medicine to him so that it doesn't cause him to go bald.
So like she kind of like falls back from the door a little bit, kind of shocked and not really sure what's going on. Make a deception check.
Oh, guess who leveled her charisma? Me.
Glorious.
Well, it's a 5, but I rolled a 1.
So I don't know. Like I didn't feel anything in his scalp. He seems as healthy. He seems as healthy as one could be.
Kath shoves her out of the way and walks in the room.
You tried.
She falls to the ground. She's clearly not wearing anything under that sheet. And Vance is in the bed with another young woman. They're both humans. And he's looking kind of sheepish and guilty.
Vance.
I'm guilty.
Why are you
Where
here?
have you been?
I came back to the city like the boss said, and I got everything like she wanted. And I figured she wouldn't be back for a couple of days still.
So you have her very personal things?
Yeah. She told me to.
Lose anything?
No. I came back and, I was on my way back to the bathhouse and I was going to go back to work. But I met these two in the market and they were really nice. And we started talking and we went to lunch. And
You realize that Deneen has been frantically worrying about you, sending searchers up and down the road between and here Carpathian because she thinks that you've been eaten by a monster and are dead.
How am I supposed to know she finished her spirit quest so fast? Usually for elves, those things could take 100 years.
Typically, you check in when you get into town and you let someone know, hey, I'm here. I'm off for some fun. Vance, you know Agnetha and I. Why do you think we would have a problem with this? You just need to report.
Get your jollies off on your own time, buddy.
He kind of gets indignant. Listen, I'm an adult and I don't have to check in with any of you.
Are you?
Our wizard is getting
Is
sassy.
that why you refuse to go see your family when you're back in town? Because you're not an adult and you know that they won't let you go if you show up?
But me and my dad don't get along.
That explains a lot.
You probably didn't show up to do your chores, did you?
And the two human women, and I use the term women loosely. They're very, very, very young, just young adults, and they're both blushing and gathering up stuff to kind of make an egress.
So Kath's like, oh, I won't be here long. I won't be here long. Hold on a second. And she goes, where is it? Give it to me.
And he kind of like rolls over to the side of the bed and reaches underneath and pulls out a case.
Right. She snatches it from him and reaches out and tweaks his nose and goes, "You're a stinker." And and then leaves. But on the way out, she pays for like a bottle of really nice wine to get sent up to his room.
You'd be like the coolest aunt ever.
I'd be terrified to answer the door.
And then, so with that in hand, she hops back on her rune and goes trotting off back to the group.
So you do hear a little bit of discussion on your way out of, who's she? What was that all about?
What's this about an infection?
Some grimy pirate tiefling just kicked in the door. Yeah.
What is your charisma now?
My charisma is 19.
Yeah, it can't be that grimy.
Hey, I am a paladin of the Beggar King, and my style is derelict.
But you wear it beautifully.
Yes.
I like the accent, derelict.
It's a Zoolander reference.
Excellent.
My kids just watched that. That's hilarious. I was like, it was like in the back. I was like, ha 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 ha. Try anything. Oh my god, that song will get stuck in my head.
So you have the oath bow. What are you gonna do now?
So Kath, are people circulating back to the bathhouse? And like, where does she go to find people? Do I know where everyone else is?
I imagine the bathhouse's default meeting place.
That's headquarters.
All right, so Kath,
You guys have an office there now, and now there and everything.
It's a nice office though.
Kath hides the oath bow around like in a closet, and then she goes in and she's like, it's not good. It's not good.
What happened?
Not what we expected.
What happened?
He was just like completely overwhelmed by these people he shouldn't have trusted. And yeah, it was a mess. Not pretty.
Is he all right?
Somebody's ass.
Oh, it was bad. I don't know if he'll ever come back from it.
They really laid him out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting up and getting my shield as
They totally like were tag teaming him.
Well, did you get him to somewhere safe? Is he okay?
I think he has some kind of like mental condition where he's come to love his captors now because he refused to leave them.
Stockholm syndrome.
Oh god, they were so
Did you try dispelling magic or something? Let's go. We'll help out.
Where?
Oh, and he kind of bartered your.
And
your
Janine whips both of her daggers out, and she's like ready to go. But at least he's still alive. He's okay.
Well, You might have died a few.
Let's
few
go.
deaths
Let's
tonight,
go.
but- So she lets you walk out the door ahead of you and like start charging down the street. And at the last second, she pulls out the bolt and whistles. Turns around. Just kidding.
Well, okay, yes, you've got the bow. What about Vance?
Oh, he's fine. He's naked with some girls.
Damn it, Calf! What the hell?
He's fine.
She thaumaturgies to make her voice extra loud and goes, "What the hell?"
Like slash Y on World of Warcraft. Suddenly your text is in red.
So Cat's tail is behind her, just like flicking evilly back and forth.
So he's okay.
Oh, he's fine. He's a little bit of a twit, but he's fine.
A little bit of it. How did he manage to get two girls? You know what? Never mind. I don't need to know.
He's fly.
He's pretty. You have to admit he's pretty. They like his
yeah.
hair.
He's a little boy.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll tell
Yeah,
you.
he kind of is.
Apparently 2 women want him at the same time.
He's a young dweeb.
Yeah, they're probably gonna rob him as soon as he falls asleep. I know how this goes.
Nerds are in.
Well,
I mean-
good thing I brought your bow back then.
Not from personal experience, but
Sure, Denise.
I know people who
You'd like to share?
I know people who, that's a common scam and you get to have some fun first. That's all.
Well, you know what? That will be a very important lesson. We have important things that we need to get done. And I think this is one thing that he is not in over his head about.
Sheena,
So to speak.
This
Good comment.
conversation is
All right. Well, Kath, thank you so much for finding him. Oh, this means Wisdom can come back, right? All right. So she'll hold on her arm. The owl rematerializes and lands on her arm. And she loves all over. Oh, Wisdom, you're so nice. Good girl. It says, "Did you see anything interesting on the road? I know you didn't find him. It's okay. It's okay."
So you get some mental images of prey items,
Oh, that sounds yummy.
but
Okay.
pretty much in the direction of Karshapathan, things were quiet.
Okay. You can go home. And then owl takes off again and vanishes. Okay. Well, the road looks clear. I mean, not that road's the one full of refugees, except right near the road, but by the wall, I mean.
Over 100.
Well, I'm really glad you found him, Kath. Thank you so much. Even though you had to give me a hard time about it.
It's good for you. It builds characters.
Also, it keeps morale up. I mean, it was pretty funny after the fact.
Well, that's on the upside. This means we can tease Vance mercilessly. So,
Yes,
you
we
know,
can.
that's
And we will.
win-win.
Let's go play in the snow.
Okay.
So what is it you guys want to do now?
So are we off to kill hags?
Yeah, we should probably be off to kill hags.
So, which actually means going back in the direction of Karshapathan. Also, more so in the direction that Deneen wandered off during our pilgrimage. There's a grove there that a old elven druid tends. And,
A druid?
a druid.
Ooh.
And one part of the research that had to be done was figuring out how to get to the Feywild in order to enact the ritual. So, if anyone is going to know of a doorway, it will be that druid. The only problem is his grove isn't always so easy to find. It's not always in the same spot.
Well, as it should be if it's associated with the Feywild.
And it's also rumored that he may actually be a fey creature, but that might just be a rumor. So is there anything particular you guys want to do before you head out again?
Well, let's rest up first overnight. You've been healing people. I'm beat.
And then, throughout the day and the night, more reports keep kind of
Right.
pouring in from Rylor as more people arrive.
Deneen will call her owl back and start refletching her arrows with owl feathers.
Agatha's just gonna make sure that everything with the soup kitchens and everything is going well. She also wants to talk to a couple guys about getting a still going so that all the refugees that are coming in can have a drink. And she wants to make sure, just that everyone's comfortable in her town before she goes off to fight the evil that is spreading throughout the land. So she kind of says her farewells and hangs out with Harak a little bit. And then she comes back to you guys and just hangs out at the spa. I'm basically... the spa is my favorite place, so that's where I spend a lot of my time, and especially because I get a lot of people that stop by and they want to tell me things or they give me information. I've got a lot of secret things going, people stopping by and communicating with me, and so just clearing everything up that I need to before I leave on another trip, I guess.
And also the brass ladies are always there ready to give hot massages, so
Ooh, I will use
like
them
hot
more often.
stones, but better.
So Deneen, I guess, is going to be surprised to see them. Like, ladies, welcome to our plane. Kath, how'd you work this one out?
I'm a genius.
They kind of babble at you in a language you may or may not understand. So
Is this pre or post?
Probably not.
Primordial is the language. So post.
Mm-mm.
Does it sound positive?
Okay, so we've already rested. Yeah, I will wait until we get back to discuss things with them because I don't want to waste the spell slot casting tongues right now when we might be getting into trouble soon.
Well, Kath will explain things. She does the introductions back and forth and she translates because she speaks Primordial now. And that's part of why she's been hanging out with them. So
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to bring in immigrant workers in who may or may not be here legally, you definitely need someone who speaks their language.
At least we're going to pay them a reasonable rate.
Yes. So, and say, just let them, and they know that she travels and they know that because they're, it's been months since she's made contacts and started the back and forth between them. So they're aware of what's up. And I imagine that some of the other staff around the bathhouse know like a few phrases of Primordial to like communicate back and forth.
Maybe we have a translation of the menu, like with Common on this side and Primordial over here.
It's a picture menu.
Yeah.
with numbers.
Yeah. And like yellow to orange to red, like level of heat to incorporate into it.
Yeah, but you're definitely able to work things out. And although they don't really want to be paid in gold or coins, they actually like exotic things to either wear or burn.
Ooh, well, Alarian as a woodworker knows where to get all the choicest fancy wood scraps.
So they definitely consume that kind of stuff,
like exotic hardwoods and essential oils, maybe.
Kath will bring some stuff back from her travels for them,
and then
make them happy.
Yeah, also like incense and maybe some halfling pipeweed if someone ever introduces them to that.
Early on.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be down.
Okay. If you think we haven't used that pillar as a hot box, you're kidding yourself.
Right? They've known way longer than you guys expected, okay?
And also like over the course, are you still living out of your Vardo or did you move into maybe an apartment or
I am hanging on to my Vardo for dear life. Like I still sleep in it and everything. I park it next to my mom's house. Like
this is the new and improved Vardo.
My grandma's house, and like she probably yells at me for having the trailer in her yard.
By the way, I loved Kenna's bit about how she's making new punch cards for the music so that she can program the Vardo with extra music. I love it.
Kath was nice enough to turn the Vardo into a music box for me, and so like all my ballads play. Like,
you're like a rolling jukebox.
I like it.
So, what is it? What did you do with the cracked flower jar?
I just kind of set it up on a shelf in the what?
And Deneen put manacles on it.
She did.
She was feeling paranoid.
Shut. It was like it's very. I practice my lock picking on it sometimes.
No, don't do the thing. No.
I don't tell you about it, but I do that thing. I'm not too worried about it.
And Denny would replace her manacles so that she still has some in case we need them.
You do find manacles off of it, and it occasionally moves places. Like you don't see it move. It's just like it's on this shelf. Oh, now it's on that shelf over there.
Oh.
Okay, can I just imagine this real quick? I imagine that if I had the pristine and like, you know, I was as popular as I was in Gryphongaffe, I would have this awesome downtown like apartment where all y'all could come and stay and we could get drunk and write music, and then it wouldn't be too far from the bathhouse. So I imagine that I would have something like that, like a weekend getaway stay. Everyone.
You could definitely have something along those lines.
If a year has passed, I mean, come on.
You could have so many throw pillows by now.
So many throw pillows, right?
Oh yeah.
Bunch of Moroccan poofs.
Crystals and like Himalayan salts and like, you know.
An abundance of tassels.
So, do you get like a permanent room at the nice inn, or do you find like a room to rent, or do you rent, or do you try to rent like a house? Or
No, I wouldn't be renting anything. You see, I would have people that I knew and they would owe me favors and I would live there for free. I wouldn't be stupid.
Agnetha just sofa surfs around Gryphongaffe.
No, like it would be like my apartment house downtown.
So your landlord is like grateful to you to the point that you just get to stay there, and they come in and sweep once a week.
Sure, I don't have to sweep it out. I'll sweep it out.
I don't quite think you're going to find that, but you make enough money from the bathhouse to actually pay to live someplace. So
I would be doing things for them on the side. We would, use each other. What I'm saying is, give and take. I would give them something. They give me something.
And then we leave town for months at a time.
Yeah.
Sure. We get tax return at the end of the year.
So
I'm just saying, we would have friends.
The guys, you get through the night. The next day, you're getting ready to head out, and so you guys head towards the north, towards the forest of Karsha.
So we have all the stuff we need. We have the talisman that's been charging all year, and is there anything else we need here? We're going to go find this druid and try to get into the Feywild, right?
That's exactly the plan.
All right.
In this year that's passed and in all my meditations out in the wild, could I have found a familiar beast that I can use to like go with me to places?
What kind of creature were you looking for?
Like an kind of like an owl or a bat, or maybe even like a small like a rodent or something that can like sneak around and like find things, something cool like that, some kind of a forest creature.
Give me a wilderness survival check. Or is it survival?
Wilderness survival check.
Sorry, I've got a lot of additions rolling around in my head.
Okay. Oh, 12.
A 12. You can find a lot of different creatures, but you have not found one that is suitable yet.
Okay, but I'm looking.
Well, can my owl help you?
Yeah, I can probably, if I'm meditating, I can use your owl for now, but just be aware that I'm looking for a creature of my own that I can use as a familiar so that I can like scry through it, basically.
Okay. But I could tell her to fly in like a particular direction for you if you want.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I can still help you with your owl. Your wisdom.
Yes.
Owl.
Whiz for short.
Wizzy whiz.
Just take a whiz. Now, so you guys head through down the road towards Carshapathian. Things have been really calm of late.
I absolutely brought Monty with me.
Okay, you find yourselves in the ancient wood of Carshapathian, away from where the actual city is itself, and heading towards this primordial forest where the trees are like they're getting bigger and bigger and older. They're like the size of redwoods at this point,
And even though Deneen usually isn't a big fan of the woods, she seems totally relaxed this time.
And you hear the sounds of the forest, and it's kind of dark, but not in a like spooky kind of way, but just in the canopy is thick, and every once in a while golden rays of sunlight just kind of pierce the canopy here and there, and it kind of just stands out even more and look even brighter than normal because of the darkness of the forest. You hear creatures scurrying about. When you come to a clearing that is the most light you've seen in this forest so far, and you just know that you've found the grove, or maybe the grove has found you. And in the center of it is a large tree. If you all held hands and tried to encircle it, you would not be able to. It's so big.
That's what she said.
And sitting under this tree, leaning back, there seems to be an old elf with long white hair, and this elf actually has a beard that goes down past his belly button, as does his hair, but he's completely bald on top. And he's got a twig sticking out of his mouth, and he seems to be chewing on it in his sleep. And he's wearing gray and green trimmed robes with little elf shoes, the ones that come up on his feet that are brown.
Hi, are you a druid?
And he opens one eye.
We brought booze.
And other things.
We're here to ask for your help to get to the Feywild.
You just go walking up to everyone and waking them up and asking if they're druids?
I'm sorry, sir.
Only if I'm looking
and
for
assuming I'm a drunk?
No, it was meant to be an offering to you.
Why not? We all are.
We're true adventurers, are you? Here's some gin.
We want
old for adventuring.
We're not quite there yet.
Classy nights at home.
Would we be able, kind sir, to pass through your grove and into the Feywild for our mission?
It's not up to me.
Oh. Who should we ask?
Well, Gertrude here. She's the one that's connected to the Feywild. She kind of like shrugs his head over his shoulder at the tree behind him. You're gonna have to convince her.
Hi. Are you a tree?
Hi, Gertrude.
The branches kind of like seem to rustle a little bit in the wind, possibly.
Gertrude, there's a swamp near here on the Feywild side that has been corrupted by evil hags.
You're not sure, but you think the tree kind of like shimmies a little or shivers.
The trees would know so much. Hello.
We want to stop them. And I think the only way we can do it is from the Feywild. So we're hoping you can help us get through.
Well, Gertie here could sure help you through, but you're going to have to get accepted by the Feywild.
All right, how do we do that?
Well, that's going to be between you and the Feywild, I think. He kind of like rolls to his feet and stretches languishingly, almost like a cat. And you like hear his joints and bones popping as he kind of like stretches out and kind of shakes off. And he seems pretty spry for an old guy. He looks really old, even by elven standards.
Agatha's gonna walk up to him and be like, "Look, trying to save the world right here, okay? You could help us out a little bit."
Agatha, he is helping us. Just relax, chill.
The world will be fine.
Frustrated.
Long after we're all gone, the world will be here.
Yeah, that's what Tom Bombadil said. But you know what? We don't have time like you do, buddy. People are gonna die.
Okay. You know what's gonna make you feel like we have plenty of time, and I go ahead and like roll a doobie and then pass it to Agnetha.
Yeah, we've had this is the end of a whole year here.
We can do this.
Agatha like rolls and she's like, thank the fucking gods because I'm gonna kill this wizard.
You're not okay.
No,
Don't find her.
no.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
And I wink at you.
This is kind of like the last roadblock to a very long and personal and arduous journey for her. She's a bit wound up in it.
Yeah, the hags did some things to my friends here and to their brains, to their minds.
You have no idea. Don't you judge me.
I didn't say anything about judging. I'm just trying to be friendly here. That's all.
I'm talking to Radagast, not you.
He kind of springs over to Agatha and kind of squints at her eyes and sniffs.
She sniffs back.
It actually smells very earthy, like the forest.
Thanks. Patchouli.
He's like, I can smell their touch upon you. And
yeah.
And he kind of starts like his sniffing the air, and he kind of heads over towards Kenna and you as well.
And Monty.
And Monty. Hasn't anyone told you you shouldn't haggle with hags? It's never good.
We know that now. But there were lives at stake. People were actually going to die, and it seemed like a small price to pay at the time.
Understandable.
You're wrong.
There's more to it than just what they took from them, though. They also killed a bunch of her friends
they
and
really
relatives, and they've corrupted someone else we know, and it's beyond the pale.
Killed my ex-boyfriend, man. Or they killed my ex-boyfriend, which I'm not too sad about, but it's pretty crazy what they do. They made even him crazier than
and your cousins and friends and tribespeople. They didn't ask for that. They didn't make a deal. That's outside the bounds of what they're even supposed to do.
Yeah.
Hags are bad business, that's for sure.
These hags be messing where they shouldn't be.
We're gonna put them out of business.
We are.
At least temporarily.
For long enough.
Are you lasses ready to see if the Feywild is willing to accept you?
Can I make a history check to see if this tree or anything like this rings a bell?
Sure.
Like to give me some kind of insight into what's about to happen.
Yep, go ahead.
20.
You've definitely heard of trees that have been invested with great power, with their connection to the earth and this plane, and they can also, because of the transient planes, also exist in more than one place, whether it be like the Shadowfell, the ethereal plane, the astral plane, or even the Shadowfell. So they have these some trees that are extremely old have special bonds, and sometimes they're also vested with some divine or perhaps even infernal sentience to them.
And what did he call this tree again?
Gertrude.
Okay. Before we accept, can you tell me, is Gertrude perhaps connected to anywhere besides the Feywild? Is there a chance that we're going to be shot out in some other plane?
The cosmos is a strange and wonderful place. Anything could happen, but I don't think so. She's never said anything to me about it. And then he kind of like cocks his head like he's listening. Well, if she is, she's not telling.
Seems legitimate. I'm good.
This is our only route, so.
Route.
Speaking of which, one of the sections of the tree where huge roots are kind of delving into the ground, forms a crevice, and it kind of like begins to peel back a little bit, revealing a dark cavity. And it appears old Gertrude is ready for you.
So when Deneen sees how dark it is, she says, Kenna, do you want some light?
Yes, please. Very much so. I don't think the tree would appreciate us bringing fire into it.
So what do you want to be light?
What do you mean, what do I want to be light?
I
hold my drum up.
Okay. And then Deneen holds her holy symbol to Eleven, and she casts a spell, and then reaches out and touches the drum, and the drum starts to glow.
That's awesome.
So it sheds bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for an additional 20.
Nice.
The old man kind of looks over and nods his head in approval.
And since we're going to the Feywild, it's a very faint green.
So cool.
Thematic.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I figured a few new things out. So
as you move forward, you kind of hear the gentle lapping of water on the shore of a lake. And as you pierce the darkness and you come through, you're no longer standing in the same place that you were. It's a glade, but it's open, and the trees are all tinged with silver and much smaller in stature. See a white stag before you on a hillock that has a lake at it, and it's drinking. Its fur is so white that it's almost ghostly. It's got a huge rack of horns, probably 14, maybe 16 points easily, and you can see its reflection in the water, and it kind of ripples, and as it looks down, you see its blue eyes reflecting off of the water, and you hear the sounds of the forest, and it's peaceful. And I imagine Kenna and Deneen would probably notice first a predatory creature stalking up the side of the hillock. It looks like a tiger, but like no tiger you've ever seen. It's a tiger with its fur looks completely psychedelic, and it's got 6 legs instead of 4. And the colors are kind of like they're colors that wouldn't blend in with the natural environment at all, and they seem to be swirling and changing and moving. There's like oranges and pinks and reds, and the creature takes note of this predator stalking it, and as it looks at it, it freezes, and you can see and actually feel the pull of the patterning on the fur of this creature. It's hypnotic, and the stag seems to be locked in place as it begins slinking forward.
I don't want to let this happen.
No,
Yeah, on one hand, it seems like we should do
you
something,
need
but
to
on the
let it
other hand,
happen.
this is nature. This is how it is.
No, we don't interfere with things in the Fey plane because there's consequences. Not unless it's protecting our lives. I don't think we should mess with something like this.
Janine pulls wisdom to her, but keeps her with her and says, "Are we?
Not everything that we see is as it appears to be."
Well, is this cat Fey too? It's kind of amazing.
Probably. It's on the Fey plane. It looks pretty Fey-ish, but I just...
Well, can I at least scare the deer away?
No.
Yeah, because if it's going to be eaten, it needs to be eaten. This is the circle of life. If it gets away, then, that's natural selection.
Unless there's some kind of like hidden honor quest here where we're supposed to do the noble thing. Oh, the Fey are tricky. I don't know.
I mean,
Or
yeah.
we're supposed to just observe.
I don't know if it would necessarily be an honor thing. If you rescue something that is weak and weakening its bloodline, that isn't doing it any favors in the long run.
This is what I've been saying the entire time. I'm so glad you're on my side now.
And as we're talking about this, Deneen just sort of keeps her owl close, and she's watching this cat stalking, and she does not look comfortable with this.
So as you guys kind of watch this tableau unfold before you, the cat springs in that like instant. It's almost like time freezes, and the stag turns to look at your group and kind of bows to it a little bit, and then like time snaps back in place, and this tiger-like creature, this psychedelic feline takes the stag by the neck, and it's over in an instant. and he begins to drag it off. Make a. You actually don't even need to. As it grabs it by its neck and begins to drag it off, you can see that it's the feline is a female, and drags it over the hill out of sight. And the stag does not suffer. It ends fairly quickly.
She's probably feeding cubs or something.
I'll keep.
Feels like crying.
I'll keep thinking that.
So beautiful.
And my owl can tell I'm upset, and she like buries her head in my side of my neck.
I think it means that we're gonna conquer whatever this is. It's a sign.
We're gonna conquer a defenseless deer. Yeah.
We are that tigress. We're gonna kill it.
Kath turns around and kind of hugs Haroon's head and says, "No, Haroon, we're not going to stand here and let the tigers eat you. That would be different."
Right.
Who let the child in?
I mean, I've shot deer before, but it was just so amazing. That's all.
I hop up into Monty's saddle. All right.
Well, let's see if we can figure out where to go.
What did you guys do with the circlet by chance?
Arun, I'm pretty sure, is wearing
Is he really?
Yes. Glorious.
All right. Yeah.
Well, in that case, do you want to describe the new piece of headwear that Arun has to go with all of his other baubles?
Oh, shoot. Do I have Kenna, do you have the details on that?
You can describe it however you want.
Yeah, I don't have a physical description. Do your thing.
It can look like whatever you want it to look like.
And what is it called again?
It is a circlet of blasting.
Circlet of blasting. All right. So there is this very kind of intricate, almost like Middle Eastern design circlet that is perched somehow around Arun's horns, because his horns curve out and around, and Kath has somehow managed to work this over so that's stuck on top of his head, and it is just very ornate and intricate, and it's got bezel set different stones and runes around it. And yeah, so Arun is even more extra than usual.
Beautiful. He's so beautiful.
And it's got like a little bit of like chain. It looks like it might have had like a chainmail veil, but his head is so huge it just kind of drapes down the front of his head a little bit. So it serves as like a little piece of armor as well.
You look fabulous as always, Arun.
He shakes his head like
a
hair model.
You're so handsome. This beautiful jewelry is almost worthy of you.
It's almost
Smug. Auroch is smug.
So with that, what direction would you like to head into? You have, the wooded silver forest. You have the hills. But it was the direction the tiger went in.
Well, we're looking for the Feywild equivalent of a swamp, right?
Yeah.
So probably not in the hills.
The forest would be the best way to follow, yeah.
Also, you're not entirely sure you're in the Feywild yet.
All right. Oh, that's right. He said the Feywild has to accept us. So maybe there's going to be challenges ahead.
Oh, almost no doubt. But
well, why don't we go where the deer was?
You mean the thing that got eaten? You want us to go stand where the thing that got eaten was?
Well, it bowed to us, so it must be part of this. So I don't know. Where do you want to go?
Well, Agnetha, you're like a naturey person. Where's a sensible place to go in nature?
A sensible place to go in nature?
Yeah. Like, do we head for the forest? Or wait, Kenna, like with a bard, like you're a bard, so story-wise,
story-wise, I would follow the tiger.
I'm good with this.
You would what with the tiger?
I would follow the tiger.
Oh. Yeah. I think it was a sign.
I mean, right now this is her story. If this is following narrative format, then it stands to reason that we'll find what we're looking for wherever she went.
Okay.
I'm good with this.
So, all right. So you guys go head towards where the tiger and the deer were. It's actually easy to begin tracking the tiger creature because it is dragging a very large stag with it. So one, its paw imprints are kind of deep into the soil. It's got 6 legs, and then there's the drag mark as well. But I think we're going to wrap up right there for tonight, and we will see where the tiger takes you. Having the tiger by the tail takes you next week. So I want to thank you guys for playing with me as always, and I want to thank everyone who hung out and was watching tonight. So until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.